I don't know what's wrong with the weather. You know, I moved to Spain and everyone was telling me how, it's always sunny in Spain. It's always hot. The last few days, the weather's just like dipped. But anyway, let's get inside and finish this router table. Well, continue the router table. Hey, part 4 of the router table. Today it's my plan to get the central box done and the part of the dust extraction so that we can assemble the 2 towers, giving us that stable base. If I'm lucky, I'll get the drawers done, but I haven't been really good at actually achieving what I wanted to do, so I will... Already dropped something ridiculous. Anyway, I'll hit it hard, try and get it done. Let's just go cracking. So today I'm actually way better prepared. I actually have a list of things I need to do just to try and keep it going. The very first thing I want to do is I need to glue 2 of these. So these are leftovers from the kitchen for some backing board. Don't ask me what happened here, but anyway, I've got 2 of these pieces. I need to glue them together because I need hardboard that's 6 mils rather than just this 3, just to be a bit more sturdy. So I'll do that first and then proceed to take these pieces that I cut last time, do the routing, etc. what we need to make the box out of it. That'll be the central column piece. After that, I will start looking at the dust extraction where there's more work. I need to do a bit of milling and some cutting down. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get going, right? This is not advertising in any form, but this stuff is amazing. A lot of people have asked me what's that yellow glue I'm using. Titebond, pretty good brand if you ever need it. So I've got these 2 panels, this and this. Obviously, this one's a bit smaller, so I'll use that as sort of the base area. So I'm going to apply glue to this, stick it onto there, put something heavy on it, and we'll get going from there. I've tried to get some form of glue everywhere. There's no exact science to this, as long as glue's everywhere and the squeezer will do the rest. So, very, very straightforward. We just flop it on here. Ooh. Now, we have movement. We just need to ensure it's down. And what I need to try and do is put something heavy on this, but for that I'll move it to the floor. Sorry, I know the light is a bit shitty here, but I need the space over there. Anyway, I said something heavy. What's better than this? Perfect. So, while that dries, we need to route on these 2 pieces. So this is the bottom and the top, and we need to do the sides and the back. The front we'll leave solid, so it'll be 3 sides of the thing. I bought this cool little tool on AliExpress, I think it was. It allows you to mark edges. So I'm going to use this just to mark off where I need to route and also to ensure that I don't go too far. First time using it, pretty cool, let's see how it works. So my understanding from this tool is you need to sort of, I need to mark the right width of this, right, on the other piece. Now you have a little scale here, but let's see if I put it to 16 mils. Hey, that's spot on. I'm pretty impressed. So the idea now is I will take my piece of wood like this, and you just attach it, or you just run it along. Oopa, sorry. And there we go. I've got the line, and the edges obviously are difficult, but here we have a straight line. there we have it. I think that's pretty cool. So I've received an official complaint that I don't show how to set up my machines enough. I thought I'd shown this part, but maybe that was in a previous video, but I thought why not do a quick presentation just how to change the router bit. I will try and do like one of these every video, so we have, you know, a little bit more informative rather than you just watching me fumble and mess up. So to change this bit, this is sort of standard on most routers, especially the Palm routers. It will vary depending on the machine you have or other people, but so in essence, I don't need this round of a bit. So on this machine, I just literally flip that off, take that off. Then here, so this is called the collet. That's where the router bit is inside. This obviously just turns. You have this little button here which stops it from turning. So bam, it now no longer will turn. You then just loosen the collet, and then you should be able to just pull the router bit out. And there we go. Then you get your other router bit that you need, which is over here. I need this one here. Ow, they're sharp. Hold on. So this luckily is 16mm, which is exactly the width of my wood. So that's why I like using this for this project. You slide that in there. Let me just. Sometimes you have a bit of sawdust stuck in there, so I'm just going to check. Nope, it's looking good. So we attach that there, slide it in to the right depth you need. It's not going. Okay, so let's try that again. There we go. It's just a bit of force. You slide that in, then tighten it. You shouldn't put it all the way in because that causes it to hit this nut and causes all kinds of problems. It can lock up or even, you know, loosen the thing. So make sure there's like a little bit of a gap there. Then yeah, just hold this down again and tighten it up. And then lastly, we just slide this thing back on top. That's right, it needs to rotate like that. And then you just set the depth. So what I like doing then, I just got Giles quickly, is you now need to set the height. Now this will be the amount you route in, which needs to be, in our case, exactly half the width of our board. So I'm just going to use Giles because it's nice and long and I can balance on my shoulder. And the idea is, you sort of find the half the width of that, right, is approximately there. You can also mark a line, but as long as you route all the same, it shouldn't be a problem. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to set it to that in essence, and then, sorry, obviously I know it's moved. I'm going to do it properly because it's much easier than when I show you, and then you keep it like that, and then you can begin routing. So, yeah, hopefully that was a little bit informative. Let me get going. One more thing, just on that note, another trick you can do, like if you already have a piece that you've routed before and you want sort of the same depth, you can literally just place the router against that piece. Let me see if I can show you. Up and set the depth exactly the same. Obviously there's no light in there, but set the depth exactly the same, and that's what I've done to set it for this one. Anyway, I'll go on now. Obviously, the other thing you need to consider is like how far in you're going to route, and that's what this parallel stop is for. So you attach that to your router here, and then this distance is how far in it'll go. And let me just unplug it. Safety first. Last thing I want to do is hit the power switch while doing this. So the idea here is you need to obviously loosen that and bring it in so that it's perfect aligned with that. In this case, because I know the bit is that, I'm just going to align it by eye so that it's exactly the same width. And I'll obviously do a test cut to see if I need to adjust it or not. And then bam, you tighten that and we're good to go. The only other bit of advice that I can give you with routing is literally take your time, right? Go slow and focus on keeping the router flat. So in this particular scenario, you want to focus on keeping the pressure. I mean, don't force it down, but make sure that the router sits flat. So when you route, this part here sits flat, so that you, if as soon as you tilt like this way, your bit will eat in. And you know, because I'm a considerate YouTuber and want to teach you a little bit once in a while. I'll show you an example. I did one on purpose, obviously. So here, I hope you can see because it's obviously sort of that kind of happens. So you have like these little, you know, gouges in there, which is not ideal, but you know, I wanted to show you guys. Anyway, let me get going. Miracle. No damage. Seeing as I've already dry fitted all, the glue up should be fairly straightforward. As I dry fitted it, it's exactly the same way I would glue it up. So I've got all my clamps ready. I'll do the sides and then lastly put in the top. Now, I also reinforce the joints with screws. This is mainly, God. This is mainly so that I don't need to clamp it so much and I can move on. Right, here we go. And there we have it. This is the main box. I see there's a little bit of glue in the inside that I want to just wipe up while it's still semi-wet. I mean, no one will look inside here, but I will. Okay, so one more thing we need to do quickly is we need to drill holes in the side, 4 on each side, and that will be used to attach it to the 2 towers later using some carriage bolts. So these things here, this is a carriage bolt. So I'm going to quickly measure that out, mark it, drill it. Let's go. And there we have it. This part is complete, nearly ready to be attached to the towers. However, I cannot do that yet until we've built a portion, a channel of the dust extraction. So the idea is that the router sits, the towers will be on each side, the router sits in here, and at the top there's a channel across this way that I'm building next, where we extract all the, you know, the dust and that comes from the router. So I'm just going to quickly have a spot of lunch, and then I shall be back and hopefully build that super quickly. And we should also have our other panel over there fully dried at that point. I meant the panel is fully dry, not dried. Actually, can you say fully dried? That piece is dried meat. It is fully dry. It is fully dried. Dried it did? Did it did? Don't know. Okay, so the dust extraction piece is like an L shape. I will cut all the pieces for the side panel and do some routing that is required. I'll explain it as I go along. let's get going. So the way this dust connection works is we simply have a unit like that. I'm trying to just, yeah. So the idea is that the router will be at this end and anything gets sucked in there. So what I need to do now, I see this happens, that makes more sense. So this happens, something like that, right? But what I need to do is at these two pieces, firstly we need a groove, because what we'll have is we'll have a blast gate so you can block the flow from this way. That'll be explained later, but also at the front I'm going to put a chamfer so that it works like a funnel, right? The idea is that, you know, it funnels them, the chips and the dust, and that goes in and it doesn't sort of get stopped against that. Just a minor detail, so I'm going to quickly work on that. So finally I can use this magical thing. I haven't used it in a while. This is what we call a crosscut sled. I can use this to do those dados. Because what needs to happen is I need they to be exactly the same on both pieces, but also it needs to not quite go through, and I need it to be perfectly 90 degrees, and I need to be able to do that cut quickly and safely. Now instead of trying to do that with a router freehand, or you know, pulling the piece of wood across the table so directly, I've got this thing. So this allows me, I mean, you can do all kinds of cool cross cuts. So I can hold it like this and just go across the blade, cut it in half, etc. Always knowing it's 90 degrees. In this case, we only want to go about half the depth of this, maybe even less of this. So I'll set the blade accordingly and do the cuts quickly. And what I can do also is I can put a stop block. So I've marked the depth of this. So approximately that distance away, so we just align that with here, and then I can put this in place and simply lock it down with a clamp like this, and that will allow me then to ensure that on both pieces they are exactly the same distance away, and when I glue it all together I make sure that those two are perfectly aligned, and then my blast gate will slip in. Now the kerf, which means the width of my blade, is 3 millimeters, so I need to do 2 passes. So to make this fit perfectly, I will do one cut like that, and then I will put in a piece of 3 millimeter stock, so of those sheets, so that I can put it in between here placed, so I can gauge that distance and then do a second run, and then that should give me the exact width of the glued up panel over there. Cool. As you can see, it's glued together. We did have some lifting up on the sides, but I just need a piece of this, right? So in the middle, so I'm just gonna cut off the pieces that I'm not interested in. To be honest, that's as far as I can go with the table saw. It's becoming quite tricky. I think what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna just sketch on this thing, use a jigsaw, cut that out, and then sand it flush once it's attached. So, as I'm doing that last cut there, I just realize, you know, I'm trying to get it all straight with the jigsaw. I have a bandsaw that I bought exactly for this. Oh well. There we have it. So I did have a mistake inside here where the The hardboard that I created at the bottom is standing over a little bit. I'll see. I mean, it's all hidden behind the tower, so I'm not too sure if I'll do anything about it. But you could always just take a round, straight edge router bit and flush it all up. That's what happens when you do it by hand, right? When you use a jigsaw. But yeah, so the idea is very simple. The dust gets sucked into here, across the corner, and out there. The top will be sealed by the top of the actual table. So, good. So the only thing that's missing for me to assemble is on here we need like a support piece made out of hardwood that'll attach to the two towers and nestle this inside it. That thing needs to be out of hardwood as it needs to be quite sturdy, and it'll help with, you know, solidifying the feel of the base and my English. Right, so the support plate will support the structure of the whole base, making it even more solid than most probably it needs to be, but you know, it needs to be a sturdy piece of furniture to hold this router and the forces that are operating on that, right? So the stronger the better. That's it, I'm out of time today. I will see if I can come back during the week. Maybe 1 or 2 lunchtimes just to finish this step, because I kind of want to be in a position where I just have to do the drawers, maybe start working on the top. We'll see. But yeah, we'll probably see in a little while. Sadly, as indicated, I didn't get a chance to do any work during the week, so please subscribe and like, and I'll catch you later. The worst part of any day's work is the mess that I generate. I don't get it. It's like, what happened? Did a bomb hit? Anyway, I'm going to quickly tie it up before I call it a day.